The teen driver accused of hitting and killing a 13-year-old Reedsburg girl pleaded not guilty in court today. Evelyn Gurney, who you can see behind me, was boarding the school bus in May when a truck swerved to avoid hitting that bus. Hit her instead. WMTV's Marcus Arsvold was the only reporter in Sauk County Court today. And Marcus, today's arraignment was a quick one.
Court proceedings barely took 10 minutes today. The Sauk County judge formally told Green he's facing a felony charge of homicide by negligent use of a vehicle. The criminal complaint says Green was texting while driving, which led to him not stopping in time, then hitting Gurney. Green stood mute and the court entered a not guilty plea on his behalf. Throughout the proceedings, Green looked down but made eye contact with the judge and responded politely when asked if he understood the charge. The maximum penalty is a $25,000 fine, 10 years in prison, and a revoked license for 1 year. Green's attorney said no comment today. Gurney's family tuned in to court through the phone and tells me they want to thank the community for their continued support. Next, there's a scheduling conference for Green in April. Live in the studio, Marcus Arsvold, WMTV 15 News.